morning, dear students. Just waiting for a few more students to join, and then I'll straightway start. If you have the book, textbook Nelson Mandela in front of you, you can open it because we are going to discuss some more important paragraphs from Nelson Mandela today as well. So if you have the hard copy of the book available with you, you can take it out. You can open it. Just waiting for some more students to join, and then we shall begin today's lesson. There are some important paragraphs which from every lesson you need to revise very minutely, so that you do not miss out any question when it comes to multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions have their own merits and demerits. Demerits in the sense that there is no step marking, there is no there is no mark if it is wrong, something which is similar to mathematics, MCQ, and grammar. So therefore you've got to be a bit careful, dear students, when it comes to scoring marks in MCQ. Like, you got to be very much judgmental. You have to have proper analysis to be able to score good marks. In subjective type questions, what happens, like, even if you are not so accurate but you have written something, so you might end up getting marks. But in multiple choice question, this particular uh, provision is ruled out. That is why you've got to be absolutely accurate to be able to score marks. There's no scope for fragmented or step marking. Well, dear students, please do text me, confirm me with the text if I'm audible to you loud and clear, and then straight away I shall begin. Please do confirm me quickly with the text if I'm audible to you loud and clear, so that I can begin my lecture immediately. Okay, thank you, Anusri, Asmita. Thank you so much. All of you, Vaishnavi and all. Okay, so dear students, you see here, you go to page number 20. Go to page number 20, and here you can see that day had come about. This paragraph is also important. Also important, therefore, you need to mark it. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. Right. So Nelson Mandela talks about the day when the inauguration ceremony was taking place. Right. So Nelson Mandela talks about that day when inauguration ceremony of his being the first black president, had taken place. So he's talking about that day. That day has come out of the sacrifices and struggle of so many people, right, of his country, who were not fortunate enough to live through this day. And some of them, of course, were fortunate to have seen this day of freedom, but many of the freedom fighters just died before South Africa became free from an apartheid system, right? So this is what he is saying here. Okay, he's saying here this day has come in front of us, as a result of unimaginable sacrifices and thousands of his people, their suffering, their courage, that can never be counted or repaid. Okay, the amount of suffering, the magnitude of suffering and courage that they displayed in order to try out their best to rid the country of any kind of discrimination or segregation is something which can never be counted or repaid. Okay, like you cannot repay this. It is something which is priceless, right? I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. And then he said, I represent all those African patriots, okay, who have gone before me, means who have died, okay, who have died and who were senior to me in freedom struggle. So this is what he is trying to highlight here. He says that I have on so many other days, he was saying that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me, right? So he said that there are many African patriots who were his predecessors, who came before him, who went before him, who joined in the freedom struggle before him, right? And he's saying that there's a list of there's a long list of such freedom fighters, right? So that long and noble line ended and now began again with me. Okay, now, this has ended with him because he was the last one in the chain. And again, in the independent South Africa, he is the first. So that is why he's saying this noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them. Okay, he's saying I was pained that I was not able to thank them. Right? I was not able to thank them because they died might be before he could get the opportunity to thank them. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. It means that those freedom fighters are no longer, okay, they already died. So that is why Nelson Mandela is saying, I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. Right? So, this paragraph is equally important, dear students. Please do listen with a lot of attention. Okay? This is very important paragraph actually, right? The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. Okay, so deep and lasting wound. The meaning of deep and lasting wound means, it has created such an injury which is going to last for a long days to come. This is what he means by the policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. It means, a kind of a system that continued for hundreds of years, so that have already crippled the human population, right? That have already crippled the marginalized section of the society. That is why he said the policy of apartheid has created a kind of an injury, kind of a wound that is everlasting and that is going to last forever. Okay, and that injury has been caused in the minds of the people, especially the marginalized people, the black community of people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. He says, now that our country has become free from apartheid. It has become independent. There will not be any racial discrimination. There will not be any economic discrimination. There will not be any kind of deprivation of any sort. So, but in spite of that, Nelson Mandela says that all of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. He says that it is a deep and strong. Profound means deep, deep and strong. It is a kind of an injury. It is a kind of a heart that is going to last for many, many, many years to come. Because if certain sections of people have become the victim of suffering or deprivation, then it takes time for them to forget that haunting or haunted memory. It takes time to come out of that haunted memory, to come out of that fear, that psychological fear in their mind, and go along with the rest of the country, new independent South Africa. So of course they will feel happy, but that particular fear has settled down in their mind. That particular deprivation, that particular fear psychosis they have developed, as a result of which they cannot simply believe their eyes and their ears that no such discrimination or deprivation will further exist in their country. So that is the reason as to why Nelson Mandela says that all of us will spend many, many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulas, the Chief Luthulis, the Yusuf Dados, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Sobukis of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. That their like may never be known again. Okay. So, dear students, as you can see right in front of your screen, these were the champions of democracy. These were the champions, these were the people who have also fought against apartheid, right? They came before Nelson Mandela, and they were also very, very encouraging and inspiring leaders. They have also fought against apartheid. They have also tried their level best to ensure that the social disease like apartheid uh, disappears from their country. So this is what Nelson Mandela says. He hundreds years of suffering, the decades of oppression and brutality, that had given rise to something else. Brutality had another unintended effect. So, what is that unintended effect? Unintended means it was not intended before. Intended means something that we did not desire before. Unintended, did not want before. So decades of oppression and brutality. Brutality, do you understand? I suppose brutality means cruelty. The decades of oppression and cruelty had another unintended, here refers to another sort of an effect which was not expected before, actually, or wanted before. Unintended effect. And that was that. What is that unintended effect? That there are many people like who were suffering, like the pictures on your screen. uh, it has made them strong, because suffering, deprivation makes people strong, right? If you do not know what suffering is, uh, you cannot you cannot tolerate it when suffering comes to you, right? So that is why it is very important to undergo some kind of challenges in our life, because when we get through or undergo some kind of challenges in our life, it makes us more strong from within. It makes us more determined. It makes us more indomitable. It helps us develop indomitable spirit. Okay, so that is what Nelson Mandela says, that the decades of oppression, brutality had one positive impact. What is that one unintended effect? What is that positive effect? The positive effect is that it produced the likes of Oliver Tambus, the Walter Sisulas, the Chief Luthilis. See, you are able to see these pictures. So it's because of decades of suffering that the people, the iconic people like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli were produced, right? Had there been no struggle, no deprivation and suffering and brutality, these people, the likes of Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, Yusuf Dadu, Bram Fisher, would not have come up, would not have emerged out of this suffering, would not have come out of this society if such a magnitude of suffering and deprivation and brutality were not there. Because, dear students, the more you suffer, the more deprivation you face, the more strong you become from within, as I told you, right? So, this was the only unintended positive effect that the decades of oppression and brutality had produced, right? They have produced, what have the decades of oppression and brutality produced? They produced the likes of Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, right? Bram Fishers, and so on, right? See, who are they? These are some of the most prominent names in the struggle against apartheid. For the use of the definite article with proper nouns, see exercise 2 on page 25. Okay. So, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, Robert Sobukwe, Bram Fisher, and Yusuf Dadu. Okay, they were the iconic leaders who fought or struggled against the policy of apartheid. Okay, now you see, courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. Their like may never be known again because they are one of their kinds, and years of suffering, deprivation, and brutality have produced them. Okay, so it's very difficult. Nelson Mandela says that it's very difficult to get people of their magnitude, courage, and wisdom because they showed a lot of courage, right? Like in the Indian context, also you might have heard about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. You might have heard about Mahatma Gandhi. You may have heard about so many other like mm, uh, uh, freedom fighters. Okay, Bhagat Singh. Okay, there are so many like courageous uh, and empathetic leaders who fought for to bring India or to ensure that India gets freedom from the British rule. So, in the context of the South Africa, they are the prominent names who tried their level best to make sure that the policy of apartheid is removed from the society. Okay, so here you see, perhaps it requires such depths of operation to create such heights of character. So this is what I wanted to, I spoke about all this time. Okay, Nelson Mandela says that in order to come out uh, with such a dynamic, towering personality, you need to you need to suffer a lot. You need to suffer a lot. So perhaps it requires such depths of operation. Okay, perhaps it requires such depths of operation to create such heights of character. Right? He is referring to the gentleman on the screen. He is referring to Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, and Chief Luthuli, and the like. He was referring to them. Okay, because he thinks that decades of oppression, decades of brutality have produced the likes of uh, these great people, right? So he says that the depths of operation, like operation is required, suffering is required. Okay, challenges are required in life in order to create such characters like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, right? Understood? My country is rich in minerals and gems that lie beneath his soil. But I have always known that his greatest wealth is people, finer and truer than purest diamonds. Right. Country South Africa is very rich in minerals, of course, and gems. But according to Nelson Mandela, the greatest wealth is not minerals. The greatest wealth of any nation is its people, finer and truer than purest diamonds. So this is also very, very important, dear students. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its great wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. Right? Like you might be knowing that human resources are considered to be the greatest wealth for a nation because human resources are responsible for the growth and development of a country, right? Your country might be having a vast repository of minerals and other gems, but if your human resources are not not resourceful enough, are not creative enough, are not educated and wise enough, you cannot keep those minerals and gems in your country. Others will come, they will attack the country, and they will take away everything from your country, right? So, the greatest asset for a nation is the human resource. Always remember that human resources are the greatest assets of a nation, of a family, of a country. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Right. So, dear students, before the concept of the courage, uh, let me know if you have any question to ask me from the previous paragraph, which I just concluded explaining, which I've just finished explaining to you. So, if you have any query from the previous, paragraph, please do ask me question. I'm there to help you out. I'm there to explain you the meaning of that. Okay. So, dear students, please do ask me questions if you want to have any kind of query from the previous paragraph that I have already taught you. You can ask me question before I go ahead with the concept of courage. So I'm waiting for your response so that I can explain you once again if you are not able to understand it properly. And if you think you have understood, please text me so that I can go ahead with the next paragraph. So children, I am waiting for your response. If you have any query, let me know so that I can go ahead with the I can explain you, and then if you don't have any query, I'll go ahead with my concept explanation. So please do text me quickly. Okay, so let me go ahead here. The students are not only able to text me, but also they are, they take time, a lot of time to respond. Okay. Anyway, dear students, so let me continue with the next paragraph. Okay. So you see here, it is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Okay. So now Nelson Mandela gradually comes to the concept of what a courage is all about, right? So initially he said, what did he said in the preceding paragraphs? In these two paragraphs, he said that human beings develop the virtues like tolerance, like resilience, like courage. Where do they learn this, or where do they sort of imbibe these values from, or virtues from? They imbibe these virtues not from birth. Okay, they are not this courage, like something like courage, then tolerance, resilience. Okay, these are some of the virtues that human beings tend to imbibe in their personality, in their habit, by means of suffering, by means of going through the challenges of life. If you do not go through challenges of life, you cannot develop resilience, you cannot develop tolerance, you cannot have courage. Okay, like, see, if you climb onto a tree, if you do some ambitious work, some ambitious works, like if you go for swimming into a stream, into river, or into like a lake, uh, only then you develop some kind of courage. Okay, only when you are in the sun. Okay, only when you are in the sun and doing some work, then you tend to develop the resilience, the tolerance, right? So only when you encounter some challenges or undertake some challenging tasks, like as I told you, learn how to climb a tree, learn how to swim, right? Learn how to trek, mountain trekking. Okay, if you go for such adventurous activities, only then you shall develop courage, only then you shall develop resilience, only then you shall develop tolerance, right? So Nelson Mandela means to say that it is because of such a magnitude of suffering, okay, by the people of South Africa, that has taught some people become courageous, because they have gone through these challenging times of suffering, deprivation, brutality. They have developed you know these virtues like courage. So that is what he's trying to highlight in this paragraph. He's saying it is from these comrades. It is from these comrades, means here, comrades in the struggle means what? Tell me. Comrades in the struggle here refer to those giant people, those famous personalities who were the role models for Nelson Mandela. Okay, because they have suffered a lot and they have sacrificed their life in the process of suffering. Okay, so Nelson Mandela says that it is from these comrades in the struggle that I have learned the meaning of courage. Okay, from these people, Nelson Mandela has become inspired and he has learned the meaning of courage. Right now, time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. Nelson Mandela is giving some instances of the valiant, courageous, and resilient leaders. Okay, resilient leaders, freedom fighters who have not given up in the face of struggle. So he's saying, time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Right? They are the great people, dear students. They are the Great people, they do not think about themselves, they do not think about their families, they only think about their own country, they don't think about anyone else. Okay, so they are great people. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking. Nelson Mandela says that I have seen those people who were exposed to a lot of brutality and suffering, but they have tolerated this without breaking. They did not give up. They were tolerating this sort of struggle, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. And they were showing such a great strength and resilience in their character, okay, in the process of suffering and suffering and suffering, that defies all kind of imagination. Okay, that defies the imagination means what? That you cannot simply imagine, that you simply cannot imagine. Nelson Mandela means to say that he has seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. He further says that he has seen a plenty of men, a host of men who were subjected to a lot of suffering, brutality, discrimination, and those men suffered silently. They did not say anything, they did not speak out, they suffered without breaking, showing a strength and resilience. Resilience means having the capacity to suffer any kind of challenges, right? Showing a strength and resilience that you can never imagine. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Now he is giving definition of courage. He's saying, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Right? He says that he has learned courage from the likes of Oliver Tambo, Walter Cicero, Chief Luthuli. And he goes on to say that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Okay? If there is no presence of fear in your mind, that is not courage all about. Courage is something which you Courage is something when you win over fear in your mind. Okay, win over fear. If there is on some occasion, if there is no fear, it doesn't mean that you do not fear. You have fear, but might be for some reason it is subdued or it is not prominent enough. So he says that this is not courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. You have to win over fear. You should not have any kind of fear in your mind. That is what is courage all about, right? Because fear is something which will not allow courage to dominate, right? So if you get rid of fear, only then you can have courage. You can be called courageous only when you have no fear in your mind, or you have conquered all kinds of fear. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Okay, as a human being, every one of us has subdued fear, right? But those are called brave men who conquer, win over that fear, right? So Nelson Mandela says that if someone says that he doesn't have fear, that is not courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to triumph over it. Right. So if someone triumphs over or wins over fear, he is said to be having courage, or he is said to be a courageous person. So, dear students, we shall wind up here today, right? So, next day we shall study some more paragraphs. Today we have studied two paragraphs in detail. Okay. Next day I shall study some more paragraph. Okay. So dear students, it's time for me to say goodbye to all of you. Thank you so much for attending the class, and of course do text me now so that only 8 people appear to be present here. These people Anyway, so Shivam is present, Tanvi is present, Riya, Shruti, Asmita, Krishna, Pari, Harshal. Okay, so these are the people who are present in the class today. Okay, Anusri. Okay, thank you so much. We shall meet once again, dear students, tomorrow with some new paragraphs, right? Thank you so much, and hopefully, you are able to understand the explanation. And if you have any such query, you can please text me, okay? You can please text me on my website, or you can text me on WhatsApp as well. Thank you so much. We shall meet tomorrow again at 8:50 sharp, right? Bye bye, take care, and have a great day.